This actually pokes inside the plasma and measures things about the
Dave Cylinder works at the Princeton Plasma Physics Lab in Plainsboro, New Jersey. Half of his time he spends working on probes that gather data for an ongoing experiment to understand plasma. But in making these probes, Dave was inspired to do something much different.
I call it a tail clapper. Working on really small probes has honed my talents for working on the rest of what I do.
The other half of Dave's professional life is his micro-aircraft project, which has been a lifelong dream.
I've had a long-standing interest in birds. Ever since I can remember, I probably drove my parents nuts or whatever about my interest in birds. And in particularly, their incredible powers of flight.
Dave's amazing flying machines look more bug-like than bird-like, but these prototypes you see here try to incorporate things that work in nature.
We don't necessarily have to copy from nature, but we can learn from nature and then try to use in different engineering skills to try and build these small aircraft.
And the unusual designs of these models are made out of materials you might not expect.
The real tiny joints right here are music wire, the finest guitar string.
With frames put together with balsa wood and a little contact cement, Dave's flying creatures weigh less than 1 pound. Inspired by birds and insects, Dave is working on his micro-aircraft to make them smaller and even more sophisticated.
Whether it's a camera or a chemical sniffer or what have you. And the advances in those areas, in the electronics areas, is what is making it more and more possible to make smaller and smaller aircraft. And I'll glide it first to show you.
Building these toy-sized aircraft can also be very useful in today's world.
Number one, the military is interested in them for surveillance, and surveillance in very tight areas. The unmanned aerial vehicles they have now are rather large, and they're good for wide open spaces. But these would be able to be flown indoors, in urban areas.
Dave's one model is called Samara, which is named after a Samara seed, a seed that floats down off a maple tree like a helicopter. And when in flight, these creatures have a mind of their own. Reporting from the Princeton Plasma Physics Lab, Brian Bossler, WZBN News.